Hello there, everyone. I'm Gaylen Morse, and welcome to Journey to Recovery. We appreciate having you along today. This podcast is entitled The 10 Essential Traits of Recovery, Part 2. On today's program, we'll talk with Dr. Hal Baumchen about character traits that make recovery successful. Developing these crucial qualities will increase your motivation and help you stay balanced, determined, and positive. Thanks for joining us today. Our podcast focuses on the co-occurring disorders of mental health and substance abuse. We present a wide range of thought-provoking, hopeful, and positive topics from a clinical yet practical perspective. And we provide a solid, truly integrated co-occurring disorder resource you can use in your treatment program or in your own recovery. Our host is Dr. Hal Baumchen, a licensed clinical psychologist and licensed alcohol and drug counselor. He is the executive director of Northland Counseling Services and the clinical director of North Star Regional Co-occurring Disorder Treatment Programs. He's an author, speaker, and clinician with over 30 years of counseling experience. I'm here today with Tim Bode, operations director at Northland Counseling Services, and with Dr. Hal Baumchen, our host at Journey to Recovery. How are you guys today?
Doing well, Gaylen.
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Nice to have both of you here again today.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
We're continuing our discussion that we started on our last podcast.
Right, about the 10 essential traits of recovery. And last time we went through 5 of them, and we're just going to recap those right now, those first 5 traits.
So I just want to call your attention to this infographic that we have available for our listeners on the web. So if they go to journeytorecovery.com, and you can find this infographic and download that. We also have some other resources there as well.
Right.
We're talking through the 10 essential traits of recovery, and we'll just review quickly what we talked about on the last podcast.
Right, so those first 5, starting with number 1, which was stay honest.
Stay honest with yourself and with others. A strong recovery is built on being transparent and having a certain amount of integrity. Say what you're going to do and then do it.
Right. Number 2 is stay aware.
Know your vulnerabilities. Be aware of your own temptations and triggers. What's going to cause you to slip back? Be aware of that so you can deal with it appropriately.
Number 3 is stay grateful.
Remain humble and accepting. Be grateful for another chance to get your life back, and find ways to review what you're grateful for rather than what you're angry about.
Number 4 is stay positive.
My personal favorite, as you know, keep a positive, upbeat, optimistic attitude, smile, laugh, and enjoy your life.
And number 5, stay connected.
Stay close to those who support your recovery, and you might have to distance yourself from those who don't.
So that's a quick recap of those first 5 traits that we covered last time in our podcast. Dr. Hal, would you just remind us again why these traits are essential to a successful recovery?
Pursuing these qualities and characteristics actually makes recovery possible. Character transformation is rarely instantaneous. You have to be willing to systematically develop these essential traits, but not just, for one day. You have to develop them over time. As you do, you will strengthen your resolve and establish hope and a lasting recovery that you desire.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the final 5, the last 5 in those 10 essential traits. Number 6 is stay determined.
Find your primary reason for doing the work of recovery and then keep it first and foremost. Sometimes when people come into the treatment center, I ask them, why do you want to get sober? Or what are you trying to accomplish here? And they'll say, get sober and get off the drugs and stay off of alcohol. And then I'll ask them why. Why do you want to get sober? And so I try to help them process it a little bit more. It's not meant to be just a quick answer to an easy question, but kind of think through the most important thing. And people say things that maybe are almost sad, like I want to raise my own children, or I want to be allowed to go back to my home, or have visitation rights with my kids again, or get a job back, or have my parents be proud of me again. So those things help people stay determined. Finding the most important reason to become clean and sober can be used as that dynamic and driving force to sustain or build momentum in your recovery. And then when plateaus occur or challenges emerge, you can kind of go back to that piece in your life that was that motivation, that primary reason to stay determined in your recovery.
Mm-hmm. No one likes to feel forced to change or forced into treatment, do they?
No, that's a horrible feeling. The probation officer says you got to get treatment again, or the judge says you got to go to treatment again, or mom and dad or a spouse says, I'm not going to let you live here if you don't get treatment. So that person comes in feeling forced. But what I always say is you get dropped off and you were forced to walk in the door, but immediately when you cross the threshold, the door's not locked. You can go home. You can leave. So the fact that you didn't means you made a choice to stay. You made a choice, you willed to, wanted to, decided to come to treatment and get your life turned around. So that's really cool. Make up your mind about why you want to make the changes in your life. You will feel less determined and less motivated if you feel forced to be different. Nobody likes feeling forced. Take charge of your own life and your own recovery. Be strong-minded and resolve to set the course and become the person that you want to be. Motivation and commitment are strengthened as you exercise your own will and you decide to make changes in your own life.
Some people struggle with that feeling of being forced.
Right, and as soon as they feel that, Gaylen, it's like pushing on my hand, and as soon as I feel you push on my hand, I just automatically resist. That's what's happening when people feel forced. They struggle with it. Don't tell me what to do, and you don't know, and how many years of sobriety do you have, and all kinds of things. But it represents resistance on their part. They don't like to feel forced. So we try to encourage them. We try to find that motivation, a reason for them to stay determined in their own recovery.
Let's move on to trait number 7, which is stay intentional. Get rid of haphazard and random living.
Stay deliberate, stay planned, be purposeful about why you're here, why you're trying to do what you're trying to do, why you're trying to recover. When someone has a substance use or alcohol use disorder, they often spend more time and attention diligently pursuing whatever supports their addiction. So now we're going to try to flip that around. Other dreams and aspirations actually fall by the wayside. So we want you to forge new goals with thoughtfulness and purpose. So all of those words, be intentional, be planned, be purposeful, come into focus here.
Yeah, Dr. Hal, I'm assuming that motivation can vary among different people and can even change for an individual at different times or under different circumstances. Is that true?
Yeah, they start out pretty motivated sometimes, and hopefully that continues, but it doesn't always. So find ways to keep your motivation level high. When people come into treatment at first, I think we've talked about this before, but hey, lost another job, got another DUI, got to go back to the probation officer, got to use the little blow device to get my car started. My wife's going to leave me. She's probably going to take the kids and the dog and leave the cat, and the goldfish died and the carpet's wrecked. And now I got to dig my life back, and I'll do whatever it takes to get my life back. I'll do whatever it takes to get this monkey off my back, to quit using and to quit drinking. And they come in with a high level of motivation, and they do start to change. But then sometimes, for some people, that motivation starts getting dumbed down. How I'll do whatever it takes quickly becomes, how little can I do and still get by? So we want to try to help them sustain their high level of motivation.
Let me interrupt for a moment, guys, and direct our listeners to some of the resources that are available on our website. We're always adding new material such as podcasts, blog articles, lessons you can use in your treatment center. Today we're talking about the 10 essential traits of recovery. We have a wonderful infographic that covers this material. It's available as a free download. Just enter the user code PODCAST and get yours at no charge. Also, check out Dr. Hal's Journeys Co-Occurring Disorder Lifestyle Resource Manual. This manual is packed with clinical wisdom gathered over 30 years. It's a full-color and easy-to-read resource containing hundreds of treatment ideas and strategies that work. You'll find this resource thought-provoking, hopeful, and positive. Here's Tim to tell you how you can get your copy.
Thanks, Gaylen. Just a reminder, you can get both the 10 Essential Traits of Recovery infographic and a copy of the Journey's Manual at journeytorecovery.com. Just visit the site and look for that information there. To find a copy of the Journey's Manual, click on the workbook link in the top menu on the site, and you'll be able to either purchase a downloadable copy or a printed copy. Let's continue on with some more of those 10 essential traits. We're up to number 8, which is stay balanced. Keep work, love, projects, and people integrated in a finely tuned harmony.
You know, Tim, that sounds critical, but boy, I think it's probably difficult to maintain.
Do you ever get out of balance? Like, for me, I work too much or something. Maybe somebody else plays too much. I don't know. I've never met that person. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, we get out of balance.
It's been a while since you've had a teenager, I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. They get out of balance that way. I have forgotten that. Yeah, that's funny. Boy, but to keep all of those things, all those balls moving in the air as a juggler would, all those different hats that we wear, but find a way to keep work and play and relationships all kind of in that finely tuned harmony, that would be great. When clients are in treatment, they can stay focused on their recovery. They just have time to do it. They don't have other responsibilities. They can't even visit regularly. In our intensive, residential treatment program, they can only use the phone during certain hours. They can't listen to music at certain parts of the day. They can't watch television. They can, but not all day long. And so they have to focus on their recovery. But when you leave, now you got to go back to work and you've got other commitments and all of those things that you put off maybe while you were in treatment, they'll start creeping back in and demand your attention. It's tough to stay balanced. As time moves on, life becomes more complicated and even chaotic. The routines of life make ever-increasing demands for time and attention, and suddenly it's hard to keep it all going again. But we want you to allow friendships, humor, rest, relaxation to bring a balance to the strains and demands of life. So find ways to relax, to restore, to recreate, not just work or, to slip back into hanging out with people that are not supporting your recovery. Mm-hmm. Find a way to be around people that support your recovery.
Yep. Essential trait number 9 is stay strong. Be known for best attitude, best effort, and best character. Finish strong.
This came from something that I would say when I travel with a team overseas, that by the time that we're done with a 13-day trip, you're pretty weary. And I don't want to eat any more rice. I just want to find a McDonald's in Amsterdam. And I am making fun of the way things are, my living accommodations, or packing my suitcase one more time, and I get tired of it. So I began to tell myself and other people that traveled with me, we want to start strong, stay strong, and finish strong. We want to have best attitude, best effort, and best character. Be known for being kind and patient and understanding. Don't be known for being grumpy and complaining and whining about everything. That's not who you are. Deep down inside, you've got more to give than that. So that's where that came from. And this is a good reminder to watch your attitude and your behavior. Recovery can feel long and exhausting. The most successful people in recovery that I've met maintain a great attitude. Even when you're bothered or inconvenienced, try to respond with a good attitude.
There's a song from a musician, I believe he's from Wisconsin, that's called Everybody Looks Good on the Starting Line. And there's a line in the song that goes, going the distance is the hard part of fun.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that's a great line to think about.
Right. It's appropriate in our recovery program. Everybody can start strong, but staying strong and finishing strong is going to be a different thing. It's going to feel wearing. It's going to feel hard at some point.
And I'm sure, Dr. Hal, that a bad attitude can really kill recovery.
Right. You would think that the recovery program or the treatment program or the counselor or the materials would kill the program. Nope. That isn't what kills your recovery. What kills your recovery is your own bad attitude. What helps your recovery be successful? Your own good attitude, your own positive attitude. Even when you're tired or tempted to coast to the finish line, give your best effort. Even when you are mistreated or disrespected, display the best character. Those who do make the most progress. They stay in recovery and they get something out of it.
And finally, number 10, essential trait number 10 is to stay hopeful. Remain confident that your future is filled with the promise of good things to come.
Seems like a good way to finish, doesn't it?
Very good.
To believe the best is still coming, or that positive things are on the horizon for me in my recovery. Having an alcohol or substance use disorder can often bring a sense of discouragement and hopelessness. Your future, however, is not determined by your past failures and your most recent mistakes.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in those past mistakes, especially if they've been major, losing your job or relationship, those kinds of things.
Right. And it'll feel like, is this my whole life? Now I've ruined it. Nothing good will ever happen to me. But kick that attitude to the side, that belief to the side. We got to have a more positive, hopeful, optimistic, upbeat attitude and believe the best is still coming. Some good things are coming your way. Each day of recovery builds confidence and can increase your inspiration, keep you encouraged. Your energy, enthusiasm, and optimism can be restored. That's what we're looking for in a good treatment. As you become solid in your sobriety, positive future possibilities actually become a reality. You start feeling like, I've got a little positive momentum going here. The regrets of the past kind of fade as the view of the future and where you're headed looks a little brighter.
Right. So that's the 10 essential traits of recovery. Let's just recap the 5 traits that we talked about last week on the last podcast. And those were stay honest, stay aware, stay grateful, stay positive, and stay connected.
And we do have those available on the last podcast that we did. We also recapped them a little bit when we started today, and we have that infographic that Gaylen talked about as well.
Right. And then the 5 that we covered today, we'll recap those as well. Stay determined.
Another important one, to find your primary reason for doing this hard work of recovery. Maybe it's raising your kids or restoring a relationship or getting a job back or getting a relationship back with your parents or your children or something. And use that primary motivation. Use that as your primary motivation.
Right. Then the next one we covered today was stay intentional.
Yep, get rid of that haphazard random living. Stay planned, purposeful, and deliberate.
Then number 8 is to stay balanced.
Yeah, we kind of laughed about this one, how hard it can be. It's easy when you first start treatment because you're focused and dedicated to spending all of your time looking at your recovery. When you get back out on the real world, it's tough to kind of keep work and projects and people all integrated in a finely tuned harmony. It's tough to stay balanced, but it's important to spend energy doing so.
Number 9 is stay strong.
Be known for best attitude, best effort, and best character. Start strong, stay strong, and finish strong. It's easy to get tired along the hard road of recovery, but we want you to finish strong and stay strong while you're doing it.
And then number 10, stay hopeful.
Remain confident that your future is filled with the promise of good things. Good things are around the corner. They're still coming. Tomorrow morning, the sun's going to come up. Your future's bright. We want you to believe that and cultivate that belief.
And tell us again one more time, Dr. Hal, why these 10 traits are essential to recovery.
I think pursuing these qualities and characteristics that we've been describing actually makes recovery possible. I don't think recovery is possible if you're just trying to change a behavior. You have to change your character, mood, and disposition. So that's what we were talking about today. Character transformation is rarely instantaneous. You have to work at it. So be willing to systematically develop those 10 essential traits over time and stay at it. As you do, you'll strengthen your resolve, establish a newfound hope, and obtain the lasting recovery that you desire.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to today's podcast. Today, we were talking about the 10 essential traits of recovery. We have a cool infographic that covers this material. It's available as a free download. Just enter the user code podcast and get yours at no charge. Also, we invite you to check out resources on the web at journeytorecovery.com, where you can download other materials that help you develop skills to identify emotional problems, reduce symptoms, and prevent relapse at journeytorecovery.com. We've been visiting with author, speaker, and clinical psychologist Dr. Hal Baumchen. I'm Gaylen Morse. Thanks for listening to today's program. See you next time on Journey to Recovery. Remember, recovery is a journey. Enjoy the ride.